Hello and welcome to the daily number workout for fifth grade. We're on the number 85. So let's check to see how you did on writing the word 85. Pretty easy. The word form. And because it ends in a 5, it is an odd number. Let's get with the factors. So factors: 1 times 85. We know that. 2 doesn't go in because it's an odd number. 2's only go into even numbers. 3, does 3 go in? 3 does not go in. 4, it's an even number, so it doesn't go into an odd number. 5 goes in because it ends with a 5. So 5 goes in how many times? So let's get out our scrap paper. We don't know off the top of our head. We just figure it out. Use our math skills. So 5 goes into 8 one time because 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract that out. 8 minus 5 is 3. 5 doesn't go into 3, so we've got that column done. We bring down the 5. 5 goes into 35 7 times because 7 times 5 is 35. So 35 minus 35 is 0. So we're done. So 5 goes into 85 17 times. And generally, if we get to a number that is a prime number, there's no more that can go in. So we are done with the 85. It's nice to know your prime numbers. So if you hold on to all your daily number workouts, you can go back and double check. But like in my mind, I'm like, oh, I think this one's prime. And I might go back to my pages and see if 17 was prime. And usually it is. When you have that gut feeling, boom, we're done with those. Let's go for multiples of 85. 1 times 85 is 85. So let's multiply 2 to get 2 85s. 2 times 5 is 10. Drop the 0, carry the 1. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17. 170. Let's do 3 85s. Good multiplication practice. 3 times 5 is 15. Drop the 5, carry the 1. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 is 25. So we have 255. 4 85s. 4 times 5 is 20. Drop the 0, carry the 2. 4 times 8 is 32, plus 2 is 34. So we have 340. And that is 2 of these. So this is doubling each time. These would be multiples of 17 each time, which is interesting. Okay, so 80, just observing patterns, which is fun. 5 times 5 is 25. Drop the 5, carry the 2. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 2 is 42. So we have 425. And since this ends in 5, every single one should end with a 0 or a 5. That's another way to double check your work. That is definitely a pattern. So now we're going to do 685. 6 times 5 is 30. Drop the 0, carry the 3. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 3 is 51. So we have 510. Now, did that double? No, it did not. So, but this is 3 times 17. This is 2 times 17. So it is multiples of 17. All right, so here we go. 785s. 7 times 5 is 35. We drop the 5 and carry the 3. 7 times 8 is 56, plus 3 is 59. So we have 595. 8 85s. 8 times 5 is 40. Drop the 0, carry the 4. 8 times 8 is 64, plus 4 is 68. 680. 9 85s. 9 times 5 is 45. Drop the 5, carry the 4. 9 times 8 is 72, plus 4 is 76. We have 765. And any number times 10 is that number with a 0 in the ones place. So there we have the first 10 multiples of 85. If we were counting by 5s, those would be the first 10 numbers we would say. And let's move on to our next category. We're talking fractions, decimals, percents, and ratio. So let's move this paper up so I have room to work here. So we're talking 85 hundredths equals, and there is a greatest common factor of 5. So we're going to divide the top number by 5 and the bottom number by 5, because 5 goes into 85 and 5 goes into 100. So we know 5 goes into 85 according to our work up here 17 times, and 5 goes into 100 20 times. So if you don't have that written down, write that down. You might even put an equal sign and put it over to the left. Just make sure it's on your page somewhere. So we divided the top and the bottom, the numerator and the denominator, by the same number to get our equivalent fraction. The equivalent decimal for that is 0 and 85 hundredths. The equivalent percent is 85%. So if I went into a store and they had 85% off the item I was buying, I would take 85 cents off of every dollar. So if it was $10, I would take $8.50 off. Pretty good deal. All right, we have 85 to 100 in ratio, or 85 colon 100. That would be the same. Okay, and let's write this in words. So we have 85 hundredths. So the first number is the top and the bottom number is hundredths, 85 hundredths. And our decimal would be 0 and 85 hundredths. And of course, the last word is always where we end up, the place value we end up in. And then if we do it in dollars, we would have $0.85. So saying it out loud, $0. Whenever you want to put it in word form, you just write the way you say it, $0. And the and always represents the decimal, 85 cents. All right, looking good. Done a lot of work for this number already. Now we're going to move on to area and perimeter. And I've stopped drawing the pictures to save time for your classroom. So hopefully you can draw pictures too to some of them. So let's start off with our first one, which would be an area would equal 85 times 1, which would be 85 square units. We always do square units for area because it's flat and it's just square. And then our perimeter of that would be 85 wide plus 1 deep plus 85 wide plus 1 deep. So we're going around the rectangle. So I'll get out my rectangle again that I had do for 84. So we have 85 by 1 by 85 by 1. So it's just adding up the sides. So we know 2 85s is 170 plus these two. So it'd be 172 units. Nice. All right, let's do the 17 by 5 which equals 85 as well. So that rectangle might look more like, well, anyways, let's just go on. I won't give you another rectangle. So anyways, we have 17 plus 5 plus 17 plus 5 equals. So 17 plus 17 is 34 plus 10, 5 plus 5 is 10. So that would be 44 units. And we're done today with our area and perimeter. All right, let's move on to the next category of volume. So if I have, and I'm going to draw today, if I have 85 wide by 1 deep by 1 tall, my volume would look like this: 85 times 1 times 1, which equals 85 cubic units. And then if I have a 1 by 85 by 1, 1 by 85 by 1 tall, I would write it 1 by 85 by 1 equals 85 cubic units. So I'm always doing width times depth times height equals volume. That's what I do. That's the easiest way to keep you organized with your volumes. So now last but not least would be 1 by 1 by 85 tall. So 1 by 1 by 85. So 1 by 1 by 85 still equals 85 cubic units. All right, so our next category would be the 17 by 1 by 5. So 1 by 5 tall. So I'm going to say 17 times 1 times 5 equals 85 cubic units. And over here, I'm going to do 17 by 5 by 1. 17 by 5 by 1. Using the same amount of cubes. And then we could do a 1 by 17 by 5. So I'm going to draw this as best as I can. We're just going to pretend here. So 1 by 17 by 5. And we know we can flip that around a 1 by 5 by 17. That would be a 1 by 5 by 17. Looking sort of like that. 1 by 5 by 17. And then we have a 5 by 17 by 1. So representing that would be a 5 by 17 by 1. 5, 17, 1. And then we can have a 5 by 1 by 17. So this would be 5 wide by 1 deep by 17 tall. 5, 1, 17. And that does it for that. And we are done with the number 85. Have a great day.